My dad was very abusive growing up. I mean, I didn't have a terrible childhood, but when I look back on it now, I can see where some of my struggles came into play and how I wanted to protect and take care of everybody. And then I was so angry when he came back to Alabama after like 10, 11 years of him not having a thing to do with us. I was so angry. Growing up, that's what I wanted from my dad my whole life. And once my brother was born, 5 years after me, it was like he had his son finally. And then my brother, he actually ended up dying 7 weeks after my father from diabetes complications. So that didn't help things either. By that time, I was almost on a suicide mission. And that was really when my family pushed me away completely. Because I knew that I was so far in addiction that with him dying 7 weeks after my father, I couldn't go sober or not sober and spread his ashes. So not only did I lose my dad and then my brother, that I lost my family. That fear, that depression, it comes with depression, I guess. That fear of being alone, not being loved, not being good enough for anybody. I just felt completely alone. It was horrible. I never would have thought that I would have been a lead teacher in a daycare of toddlers of a class of 12. God has blessed me beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And I know that it's okay that I didn't have my own kids. God had other plans for me, and to be there for all these other babies, to help with them and help them grow and help them learn and to love on them and to let them feel loved. God, He's worked these things out in my life and helped me to understand that this is where He needed me, and this is where I love being. And I love the City of Lights. Without this place and without the Lord, I probably, wouldn't be anywhere right now. So it's a wonderful feeling. It really is, to have all this love around me and to know that I'm okay. I am okay. And it really, truly is a good feeling. Well, when I was about 24, 25 years old, I turned to alcohol on a daily basis to hide any feelings that I had, even the happy feelings, because my ex was granted open and liberal visitation to my 2 daughters, picked them up for visitation and never brought them home. And so even when I felt happy, I knew that I didn't deserve to be happy, is what I thought. To mask any emotion and all emotions, my intentions were not good purchasing it. My intentions were not good consuming it, because I was trying to feel any way other than the way that I had felt. I had a lot of feelings of I wasn't good enough to have my kids, or I wasn't, I couldn't fight for them no matter what I did, because legal aid let me down. They don't cross jurisdiction with family court in the state of Florida. And so I used alcohol to feel any way other than what I was feeling. I couldn't face my fears without something altering the way that I felt, is how I thought. And so when I would feel like I said, when I felt sad, I would turn to alcohol. When I was mad, I turned to alcohol. When I was frustrated, when I still had to work, you know what I mean, and had to function. And I just knew I needed something to get me through. And so I turned to alcohol. That was my first bout with anything trying to alter the way I felt. I always victimized myself up until a few years ago, and now I like to say I'm a victim of nothing but a survivor of everything, you know, because there's not too much hurt or harm that I haven't been through um, in life, but it has made me who I am today. The strong, independent woman that I am today is who I was always meant to be in God's image, and I'm grateful for second chances. Um, and I'm a victim of nothing but a survivor of everything. I've been shot, I've been burnt, I've been tortured by men, my kids tortured and beat in front of me, begging for my life. And today it's like, I wish I could take back all that hurt that my kids endured, but I'm grateful for it on my end because now I'm a true living, walking, uh, glorified woman of God, you know? When I walked through those doors November 18th of 2022, my thank you Jesus journey has began, and I've been thanking him ever since because I've taken that hurt and that harm and healed from it, and God's had his hand in this the whole time. I've just come to grips with that, you know. There's not much hurt or harm I haven't been through, but thank you for God's healing.
It started when I was 6. I was being molested by a close family member. And it led up to me not being able to trust my family because they didn't believe me. And then as I got older, I resented my family. And in 8th grade is when I started doing drugs. I started experimenting with men and women. And 9th grade, I found out I was pregnant. And after I had her, I felt like there was something still missing. So I turned back to drugs and alcohol. And it was like that for years. And in 2017, when I met my current ex, it got worse. I started doing all kinds of drugs, and I was drinking alcohol, and trying to fill that void up, and nothing would work. I felt like I was alone, like nobody would believe me. So that made me want to do more drugs and drink alcohol because I felt like I was alone. Like there was nobody that I could tell that would believe me. So my whole life, I felt like I was alone. From the age 6 all the way up until now, I felt like I was alone. I called Pastor Ron Green, and I asked him if he was able to help me get to the City of Lights, and he said yeah. So I was at the mental health place in Coleman, and they took me to a safe house until he could come get me. And I was there for a day and a half. I got here at 11:30 on the 8th of December, and I've been here ever since. And I've learned how I have a family, and I've learned self-confidence, and I've started believing in myself on what I can do. And I wouldn't change it for anything because today I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't come to City of Lights. And saying that, I've learned how to cope in a healthy way instead of cutting myself and trying to burn myself, because that's what I've known for the last 6 years. And I've learned how to have a relationship with God because I didn't have that.
When I was growing up, I was told I would never be able to do anything. I would never accomplish anything. I was not loved, and then I would get in situations where I didn't feel like I was loved, because of the type of people I was hanging around. I took that into my adulthood, and when I married, I didn't marry the right person. When I say the right person, he was a preacher's kid, but he was in some bad stuff and stuff like that. Then I started having all these children and trying to get them raised and stuff like that. And he would come in and out. And finally, I told him he wasn't coming back, and I could do this alone. If I had to do it, I was going to do it alone. And then I lost my daughter from stillbirth. Didn't have her funeral for her. Just walked out of the doctor's office and said, that's it. And nobody ever even said anything. And I think about it. Even though I tried to do better, it seems like every time I tried, I'd go 3 steps back and start all over again. And then there was this one doctor in the neighborhood, and they told me about him, and I started going there. And true enough, this doctor, all you had to do is say what you wanted, and he would write the prescription, you know. And I started getting pain pills, quite a bit of them from the doctor. And it just spiraled out of control. I was taking more than I should have. And sometimes it was, I was near death. I used to have a hard time to cry. I wouldn't cry. And now I cry all the time. But I guess because the layers are coming off. And not showing any feelings is a bad thing because it turns inward and starts festering inside. And then you harbor the pain and you can't let it go. It has to come out in order to begin to heal. And it's doing that. It is. Healing is forever. It's forever. And we won't totally be healed until we go see Jesus. So it's a day by day, hour by hour process.
I can't really honestly say that I can pinpoint when the drinking started. I think it really, at first, it was just a beer or a wine cooler here and there after I got Granny to sleep and the kids to sleep, just to kind of try to relax and just calm down from the craziness of my day, knowing that full well I should have done it the healthy way and went and seen a doctor or someone to help me with my anxiety and my depression. But I didn't. I ultimately got complacent in my recovery and felt like, you know, I didn't have a drinking problem before. My problem was methamphetamine, which was absolutely not the case. I'm an addict, and that means everything. I can't use anything. Because when I do, I become a person that I can't even look at, or a person that I don't even know. I realized that I had to go back. I had to go back to City of Lights. I knew that's where I had to go. There was no hesitation. I didn't want to call other rehabs. I didn't want to try to find a shorter one. I knew where my help was going to come from. The hardest thing to do was to walk back through these doors. As a graduate, you know, you're expected to go do such great things. And I felt like I had failed not only myself and my kids and my family, but I felt like I had failed City of Lights. You know, they had given me everything. They had loved me through my mess. They had built me up and picked me back up and gave me a firm foundation and showed me who the Lord was, you know, and gave me every tool that, you know, they could have possibly given me, but I didn't utilize them, you know. I didn't reach out. I didn't go to my meetings. I didn't do all the things that I learned here. And I know that's what led to my relapse. I know. To me, it doesn't have to be a part of an addict story, but for the majority of us, it is. And I just want people to know, especially people who are in recovery that fall, I just don't want them to feel like just because they made a mistake and they've relapsed that they have to stay down. You just made a mistake. it doesn't have to define the rest of your life. I just wish there would have been somebody there, and I'd have reached out to people like I was supposed to do. There would have been somebody there out with a hand to tell me it's okay, dust yourself off, we're going to keep moving forward. You don't have to wallow in the relapse. You don't have to.